Okay, so full disclaimer here. I won't be able to pull up this article to show it to you, but it is from the Daily Mail. But the key word here is but. I will post the link to the article once I clip this video and give it to you guys, our viewers and subscribers. So what am I talking about? Well, it has to deal with the hypocrisy of a person named Elizabeth Warren and how Representative Thomas Massie actually calls her out for her own hypocrisy. What? There's going to be so many people angry at me. Kit, you awful man. Warren's a progressive. She's a strong woman. She's a leader. How are you gonna side with Representative Thomas Massie? Well, look, I might disagree with Representative Thomas Massie on a few things, but hey, he ain't wrong in calling out who this fraud is, because Elizabeth Warren, remember, she and other Democrats were wagging their fingers like this at Biden for what happened in Rafah, but Republican trolls Elizabeth Warren after slamming Israel's attack on Rafah. Ma'am, you voted to send those bombs. Oh! My mouth. Even I felt that slap. And people are going to say, well, gee, Kit, you need to be more serious. Listen, if these politicians aren't going to take themselves seriously, then I'm not. I'm going to play the game too. I want to play the stupid game with these politicians. Come on, let's go play it. You want to be the Knight Rider? I'll be Mad Max. Libertarian-minded Representative Thomas Massie reminded Senator Elizabeth Warren she voted for a foreign aid bill that sent arms to Israel, as the Massachusetts Democrats called the IDF offense in Rafah horrific. The Israeli bombing of a refugee camp inside the designated safe zone is horrific. Israel has a duty to protect innocent civilians and Palestinians seeking shelter in Rafah. They have nowhere safe to go. Netanyahu's assault on Rafah must stop. We need an immediate ceasefire, to which all the pink pussy hat people were like, yes. Never side with liberals, okay? Never side with liberals, because politicians think Americans are stupid, okay? Politicians do not represent us, okay? A politician is not a representative. Big difference. Warren, who voted to pass a $95 billion foreign aid package that included $26 billion for Israel and Gaza, some $9 billion for humanitarian assistance in Gaza, and over $9 billion went to Israel's defenses. Representative Thomas Massie opposed the package. Thank you for doing that. And signed on to an unsuccessful effort to try and oust Speaker Mike Johnson over it. Representative Thomas Massie, you're always invited to come onto Hard Lens Media. We'd love to talk to you. You might be the first Republican to cross that Rubicon. That's right. Israel expressed regret that its bombing had killed civilians in a refugee camp in Rafah, but said their missiles had killed 2 senior Hamas leaders. Hamas, do you condemn Hamas? At least 45 people were killed by the blast and the subsequent fires, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry, including 23 women, children, and older people. The ministry said that 249 people were wounded. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insisted the civilian deaths were, such a tragic accident. Netanyahu said Israel Defense Forces tried to minimize civilian deaths, but no, that's never going to happen. So there you go. So in other words, Warren is trying to assume that everyone would forget, because she says that she cares, just like all the other Democratic politicians, like how AOC herself called the attack an indefensible atrocity and a tragedy. But Representative Thomas Massie is calling them out, as he should, for all these politicians. Ma'am, you literally voted to send that money there. But I want to go ahead and time travel. That's right, folks, we're time traveling. How far are we time traveling, Kit? Why, we're going to go back to 2 different points. We're going to time travel. We're going to time travel to October of 2023, when members, if not now Boston, are holding a sit-in for Elizabeth Warren's office, demanding the senator call for a de-escalation and a ceasefire. Hey, Warren, this was last year in October in your own office. Goodness gracious, Cretaceous. Now, so many people might be saying, well, gee, Kit, what are you talking about? There's a video out there? Yes. And look, October 13th, 2023. Warren, you're awfully quiet. But here, let's listen to this sit-in.
We're a group of American Jews. We are horrified today to hear of Israel's announcement to tell Palestinians living in Gaza that they have 24 hours to evacuate before a ground invasion.
We're going to rewind this, but Lance Thruster. That's, by the way, Lance, that's an awesome name. Lance, hold on. Third time's the charm. Lance Thruster, a man who can get things done. His name is Lance Thruster. He's a man out of time and space, but only he can solve the crisis right now. See it in theaters. Lance Thruster, The Navitas Files. Pocahontas will fix it.
And we are here to demand that Senator Warren speak out about this, to demand a de-escalation in violence, to stop the impending genocide of Palestinians. And we are going to stay here until she speaks out about this and demands that the Israeli government stops their escalating violence and their impending genocide against Palestinians, and that the U.S. government do so as well.
Lo yisagor el goy lo yimedu od milchama, lo yisagor el goy lo yimedu od milchama.
Now, do you think Warren went out there to listen to those protesters? Type 1 for yes, kid, she did. Because she's a leader. She's a hero. She'll listen to anybody. She won't dismiss people. What's wrong with you? You awful, awful, awful man. Truly you are. Or type 2, man, she didn't listen to them. And hey, I have evidence and proof to show that she never will. This is a video we played last year. I know that for a fact. Here's Warren. Here's Warren having a nice little dinner. And this is a tweet on Easy Street that says, hey, here's where Warren says the Israeli bombing of a refugee camp inside the designated safe zone is horrific. Israel has a duty to protect the innocent civilians, and Palestinians seeking shelter in Rafah have nowhere safe to go. Netanyahu's assault of Rafah must stop. We need an immediate ceasefire, to which, Community Note says this year, Senator Warren voted to supply Israel with $3.8 billion of weapons and defund the UN aid organization for Gaza. Say it ain't so, Warren. I mean, that's not the case, would it? Don't lie, Kit. Don't do that. Really? Are you serious? And yeah, here it is. And Warren voted for this. Warren did that. Isn't that great? Isn't that special? And it passed in the Senate. It became law. That's all that happened, folks. But here, let's play a video. And I also want to pull up the same tweet here. You didn't get an F when you had to look in the eyes of a woman from Gaza who told you she lost 68 members of her family in November and asked you how many more had to die for you to call for a ceasefire. I guess we now know how many. Hey, Warren, you ever going to talk to this lady again? Hey, let's play this video. Now, the thing is, it is subtitled. So let's listen to this. But she goes on to explain her situation. This was way early on in the conflict.
Some water to get started. Of course, we have tap water. We also have butter.
She goes on to say 68 members of my family were killed over the last 3 weeks.
Over the last 3 weeks, I just want to know how many more have to die before you're going to call for a ceasefire. I don't know. What do you I mean, what do I have to do? How many more of my parents die for you to call for a ceasefire?
And Warren's saying, I'm very, very sorry. If only there was something I could do. Too bad the U.S. Senate doesn't do anything anymore.
I don't know. Like, how much more do I have to say to come to call for a ceasefire? People are in your office every day asking to call for a ceasefire. Family, you have blood on your hands! Shut it down! Let Gaza live! Let Gaza live! Let Gaza live!
Oh, well. Warren doesn't care. That's how Warren feels. But y'all better vote Democrat this election cycle, because if you don't, that means you're just mean. You're bad. You don't see the bigger picture. Isn't it pathetic how all the Democrats now are realizing, like, hey, you know, this thing in Gaza, it's not cash money. It's not looking good. But shout out to Representative Thomas Massie, who, again, gave her a stern re-education. Warren and a few other Democrats, you voted for that bill. Shout out again to Representative Thomas Massie. We invite him to be on the show. But folks, let this be a lesson to you. Let this be a reminder of everything that we saw in 2020. All these quote-unquote heavyweight champions in the Democratic Party and how there's going to be a progressive movement happening was nothing but a fart in the wind. Warren, like any other politician, is a liar. But I wonder if Warren's going to listen to those protesters now. Boy, oh boy, if only there was something she could have done early on. We may never know.